नमस्कार, आप देख रहे हैं प्रखर पूर्वांचल। हमारे साथ एक ऐसी शख्सियत आज हैं जिनका ओरिजिन यानी इनके परदादा हिंदुस्तान की सरजमी से गिरमिटिया मजदूर के रूप में पहुंचे थे वेस्ट इंडीज कंट्री में, जहां ट्रिनिडाद टोबैगो में इन्होंने तमाम अपने परिवारों का निवेश किया। कभी ऊख यानी गन्ने की खेती के लिए पहुंचे यहां के गिरमिटियों ने एक नई लकीर विश्व के तमाम देशों में खींची है। हमारे साथ डॉक्टर रोजर गोपाल हैं जो ट्रिनिडाद टोबैगो के राजदूत हैं हिंदुस्तान में। हम इनसे हिंदुस्तान, हिंदुस्तानियत और यहां से जुड़ी हुई तमाम चीजें, तमाम विषयों पर बात करेंगे। सर वेलकम, आपका स्वागत है प्रखर पूर्वांचल में। सर, हाउ टू फील कैंप काशी?
Well, coming to India, let me first answer that. It was a dream come true. I think the Indian diaspora throughout the world would be very happy to one day land in the land of their forefathers. So it was a very exciting feeling for me, being in India firstly, but also being in Uttar Pradesh, because this is where my forefathers came from. Between the years 1845 to 1917, they left Uttar Pradesh, different regions, and some from Bihar, and they journeyed to the West Indies, Caribbean, where I hail from.
Sir, what you think about India?
India is one of the most amazing countries around the world. And even though we have come from Trinidad and Tobago, Indian culture has been a critical part of our cultural landscape. It has worked in various aspects in defining the culture, the ideologies, the mindset, the food of the peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. And I must add that Indian culture does not belong to just Indians in Trinidad and Tobago. It belongs to everyone, every creed and race in my country enjoys each other's festivals, their cuisine, their lifestyle, their religious tolerance. And Indian culture is just part of this global mix which we embrace in our island called Trinidad and Tobago.
Sir, introduce yourself, what you do there in India.
I am the High Commissioner, the Ambassador of Trinidad and Tobago to India. Basically, the job of any ambassador is to ensure that we have diplomacy, we have cultural diplomacy, trade diplomacy, investments, and to ensure that there is also areas of educational collaboration taking place, where it be in terms of research and development, it might be in terms of innovation, it might be in terms of universities, but it is basically our job to ensure that the friendship of both countries are developed and that both countries are strengthened, whether it be economically or culturally or ideologically. But we need to ensure that we all grow together.
Sir, we are a Rudraksh.
Yes.
What?
So yesterday I was in Prayagraj and I visited the Hanuman Mandir at Sangam, and I met with the Mahant, Dr. Anand Giri Swamiji, and he gifted me this Rudraksh and this in my hand as well. Then afterwards I visited Swami Vasudeva Anand Saraswati Shankaracharya, and I also paid homage to him. The reason for these visits are simply because we are highly influenced by the works of Adi Sankaracharya, and the Ramayana is one of the main texts that my forefathers brought with them to Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, I want to also add a critical point. While the world and myself celebrate Swami Vivekananda, I also want to say that 20 years before Swami Vivekananda was even born, and almost 50 years before he went to Chicago, Hinduism was already being practiced in Trinidad and Tobago. We were doing puja. We were already reading the Ramayana. We were also singing Hanuman Chalisa. So it was important for me to do these visits. One of the main reasons I came to Varanasi was to visit the footsteps of Goswami Tulsidas. I had this opportunity yesterday. So I went to the Tulsidas Ghat. I went into his place of abode where he lived. I touched the seat where he sat and wrote the Ramayana. It is all part of us creating these cultural linkages, because in Trinidad and Tobago we are working on reviving Ram Leela, just as it was done here when Tulsidas introduced it almost 500 years ago. We also have the largest Hanuman Murti in the Western Hemisphere, 85 feet tall. So there are close linkages between India and Trinidad and Tobago.
How was your next program? Ayodhya, Agra, Mathura, anywhere?
If any.
Yes, indeed. So I have been to the Krishna Janmabhoomi, and we also celebrate Krishna Janmabhoomi in Trinidad and Tobago. So it was a delight for me to actually be in the presence of this temple. I have also visited various places. I have seen Rishikesh, and I have taken bath in Ganga. And it is still new for me in India. I recently arrived just a few months ago, but I do look forward to engaging all of India and having all of India engage all of Trinidad and Tobago. Our governments are very close. Our linkage is over 175 years old. So there is much for us to do and to keep doing as we strengthen the relationships between our two countries.
Sir, you believe in Hindu ideology?
In my country, our national anthem ends with every creed and race finds an equal place. So we believe that in our country, if you are Christian, if you are Muslim, if you are Hindu, then we are all one people in one island called Trinidad and Tobago. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. हमारे साथ डॉक्टर रोजर गोपाल, जिनकी जड़ें हिंदुस्तान से निकलकर वेस्ट इंडीज कंट्री के ट्रिनिडाद टोबैगो से जुड़ी हुई हैं। इनका साफ कहना है कि ये लगातार ऐसे स्थानों का भ्रमण करते रहेंगे। अपने जो देश है उस देश से हिंदुस्तान की बहुत ही नज़दीकियां हैं। तमाम विषयों पर इन्होंने खुलकर बात की। एक्साइटेड थे। उत्तर प्रदेश के बस्ती से निकलकर इनके पूर्वजों ने जो लकीर खींची है, इस पे वो दोबारा लौट कर वापस आए हैं। इनका एक्साइटेडमेंट बताता है कि आगे भविष्य में सर
Please repeat the question.
Sir, how to feel your grandfather is here in Basti, about that, something about
Yes.
that.
Well, my great-grandparents on both sides left Uttar Pradesh in the early 1900s. I am not 100% exactly sure the village that they came from, but how do I feel? I feel very proud because they were indeed very diligent and very committed hard workers when they came to the West Indies. And they were the soldiers that laid the foundation for our country. Prior to the arrival of the Indians, Africans were already in our country. The Chinese came to our country, and also the Native Americans were in our country. Working together, all creed and races, all religions, laid that very strong foundation, which we all enjoy today. And while India has its place in our history, and it is close to our hearts, so is our island. So we still call Trinidad and Tobago Mother Trinidad and Tobago.
थैंक यू सर।
Welcome.
हमारे साथ डॉक्टर रोजर गोपाल, जिन्होंने खुल के बात की है, अपनी जड़ों को तलाशते हुए यहाँ तक आए हैं, आगे भी भविष्य में तमाम इनकी यात्राएं यहाँ से जुड़ी रहेंगी। प्रखर पूर्वांचल के लिए राजीव पांडे के साथ अरुण सिंह, वाराणसी।